So we go and quickly fix the skills view page with all the errors that it's in there. So we'll go to skills and we'll click on view. So first of all, we just every occurrence of book, we change it to skill. That will quickly knock out all the errors first of all, so we can refresh and then we come back and fix all the other minor details. As you can see, the errors are out, but then we're not seeing anything because we're calling the wrong fields. For instance, it's not skill title, skill.name, and then we don't have first name and last name and stuff. What we can do is to remove this. Okay, and the skill body is basically the description of the skill, and okay, the rest is basically okay. We don't have a skill user ID, so this check here is irrelevant. It's basically saying only the admin can edit the skill. Good, but this is the way we check it, and like we did in the other path, we check whether the skill exists at all, and if it exists, it should be less than 3. Okay, there's a way you can do yours. You can just say if it is greater than 0 and less than 3. Alright, we're good to go. So we'll go and refresh. We should now see the skill we clicked, which is the first one, should be PHP. Alright, PHP exists now and there's no description for it, which means if we go to our database and add a description for PHP, we can just add a description, a web programming language. So hit enter, and there we are. As you can see, the description. So what I'm going to do is to add the URL at the bottom here, and then we're good to go. Or I can just leave it. You just add the URL by yourself. So I'm just gonna do a I'm just gonna do a href for the URL, and then right here I'm just gonna do this and say skill.url shows up here. So we can say website, view official website. Cool. So this basically sorts out our this, but we have to check whether it exists first. So we're just gonna do the same if statement type of thingy. So we'll just do so we'll do if this guy exists at all, then show this. Then we can end if. We can say end if. I hope by now you already have a grip of how we run things here. So there's an error obviously on line 28. So I'm just gonna go to line 28 and fix it because we have these two instead of here. So this basically sorts out our skills. Then we need to list skills here. Alright, so I'm just gonna go and hijack the media get component, media component, just to list the skills. We're going to list users that have the skills, so we can just say underneath here just a list of users that have the skill. So h3 so we're gonna put a list here, so I'm just gonna call it for. It's a block. And 4. So what we're gonna put inside will emerge very soon. So So but let's just get the basics of what we want first. And then if we go to this, we'll just look for media queries on getbootstrap.com, media object, and we'll look for want list of users to look something close to this. So we can just copy this guy, to our code. Now we've pasted, we're going to go to our model. So quickly, let me refresh your memory on what we did 2-3 videos ago, where we went to the model. We created an intermediate model which we call skill user, then which joins skills and users. Alright, so we're on the skills view page now. So if we go to skill model, we'll notice that at the bottom at this bottom we specified something. We told it that it belongs to many users, and then it has 2 other options, descriptions and URL. Alright, so from there, if we just do skill users, we will have access to all the users that belong to this skill automatically. Raw PHP makes it easy that way. So if we go here, we can just say that, just declare a variable user, for instance, in, then we can say skill.users. So with something like this, we already have access to all users. So this for loop will just loop through all users. So we can start printing their details. We can say this is their name, and then we can print other details about this user, which is first name. We can say last name. We can also convert this to a URL. First of all, let's see it. If we go here and we refresh, you'll notice that although we are right, but there is no user listed here because there's no user under this particular skill PHP. If we go to our database, we'll see that under let's go to the skills table, go to skills, browse, see that PHP is the first one, that is skill with the ID of number 1. So if we now go to skill user, which is the join table, we'll see that there is no user with the skill ID of 1. That's why we don't have any user listed. So what we're going to do is to actually look for the one that has a user listed. For instance, 6, there's a skill ID of 6 that has a user number 10 has skill ID of 6. So if we change the ID here to 6, we should have at least one user listed here. As you can see, Condoleezza Bean. So what I'm going to do is to quickly convert this to a link, and then we are through with this particular video. So you already know how to do it. You just do an href, and then we close here, then we wrap it up with a here, and then inside the href we are going to do a nice stuff about the way we normally do it. To do path for, and then that path for, we're going to tell it where to go. It's going to go to users.view, and then the parameter it will have is going to be an ID. So that ID as a parameter, and the value of that ID is user.id. So we're good to go. So if we go, and then of course this 3 dots, we can remove these 3 dots and we refresh. As you can see, it's now a link. So when some people are viewing a skill, they can view the details of a skill, and then they can view the users that have this skill. Alright, so one more thing you can do is to check whether this thing actually exists, then print out an error showing that no, it doesn't exist. So I'm going to remove this alt so it stops showing 3 dots, because we don't have an image yet. Our users have not started uploading image. I'm just going to leave this here as a dummy stuff. Just comment it out. When we can upload images, we can enable them. So one more time we refresh just to be sure that everything we did is working. Cool. So if we click here, we head right back to the profile of the user, which is great. Alright, see you in the next video.